Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome for another multi-voice review. I am the multi-voice reviewer. I have many voices, but one opinion. And today, I know that is October, so I should be starting my multi-voice-ween. I just wanted to do this review before I'm ready to start doing some Halloween scary theme review. And I got a few, supernatural Halloween themed stuff I really want to talk about. But right now, let's talk about Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie was one of the most brilliant mystery writers of all time. Hell, her murder mystery books was one of the inspiration to my favorite board game, Clue, or as you say in the UK, Cluedo. So, and one thing I want to talk about is a movie made back in 1980 called Window Cracked. Now, Window Crack is one of the most unbelievable mystery stories of all time, and it was based by one of Agatha Christie's books, Window Crack from Side to Side, back in 1962. Wow, her stories got published around the 60s? I thought it would be around 40s or 50s or something like that. But anyway, let's start with my personal favorite mystery solvers that Agatha Christie played, and it is Miss Marple, who is played by Angela Lansbury. Yep, that's right. The same Angela Lansbury who starred in Murder, She Wrote, which I'm going to talk about it soon. Now, the movie starts out that Angela Lansbury, aka Miss Marple, was watching a murder mystery, and all of a sudden, the film gets broke. And then Miss Marple herself told everybody the spoilers. Now, she never saw the movie, so this was her first time seeing the movie, but she pretty much solved the mystery before the movie got finished. And after she spoiled everybody, telling them who it was, and explained why, and then she took off, and this guy who runs the projector talks to the guy who made the movie. He said, "I'm sorry, but she's wrong." And the filmmaker says, "No, she's not." She was right. Imagine that. And then we have Geraldine Chaplin, who is playing Ellie. Bear with me on the name because I have a problem pronouncing their character's name. Ellie Zelensky. Alright, I'll just take the actors' names. She plays a girl who's trying to, and of course, Geraldine Chaplin, who is actually the daughter of Charlie Chaplin, she plays this girl who's trying to get everything ready until they're going to bring the huge movie star who's going to show up in their house. Because they're going to be talking about making a huge historical movie that involves two world best actresses, and I'll tell you about them soon. And as they got everything ready, out comes Melinda Rod, played by Elizabeth Taylor. Now, I gotta say about Elizabeth Taylor, she's a really great actress, and one thing that's so interesting about her is her eyes. I mean, she has such mesmerizing eyes that nobody have ever seen. And of course, her husband, Justin Rod, played by every woman's heartthrob until they figured out in real life he was gay, Rock Hudson. He plays the husband who's trying to keep the paparazzi at bay. And then all of a sudden out comes another movie star who's supposed to be co-starring with Elizabeth Taylor's character. Her name is Lola Broadster, played by the buxom blonde Kim Novak. Man, there's a lot of stars in this movie, I tell you that. And of course, her agent, well, actually not agent, but I think he's a producer, yeah. He's producing the film about, he was producing a film about Queen Elizabeth and Mary Queen of Scots. And Elizabeth Taylor is playing Queen Elizabeth, and Kim Novak's playing Mary Queen of Scots. So it's going to be a historical movie. And out come the producer, who goes by the name of Martin N. Finn, played by Jamie Lee Curtis's father, Tony Curtis. A lot of stars, aren't they? And after they were having a little bit of a chit-chat talk, trying to know everything around, until all of a sudden, here's our first victim. And the first victim is, of course, Heather Babcock, who is played by Maureen Bennett. Maureen Bennett, she starts chatting with Elizabeth Taylor until she died and discovered it was poison. She was poisoned by something. And Elizabeth Taylor, she's getting worried, thinking that somebody's threatened to poison her. And all of a sudden, Inspector Craddock, played by Edward Fox, he starts teaming up with Miss Marple to figure out this whole thing. And while everything starts pursuing, it turns out that Rock Hudson was having an affair with Geraldine Chaplin. And then all of a sudden, somehow Elizabeth Taylor knew what was going on, so she poisoned her. And spoilers for those of you who never seen the movie, please stop this review and start watching it on Amazon Prime. Of course, it will be costly because I had the chance to see it for free until they start removing it, and now you have to pay for it in order to see it. But it is a good movie. And spoilers at the end, it turns out that Elizabeth Taylor poisoned Bennett on purpose, because a long time ago, Maureen Bennett, she was one of the fans who traveled through Germany, and when she met Elizabeth Taylor in person while she was doing her play, she showed up to take a break, and then here's the big shocker. She kissed her on the cheek, not knowing that she had German pox. And the cost of that kiss it gave her the pox affected her child. And her child was born mentally slow. So that's why Elizabeth Taylor poisoned her, because she was responsible for what happened to her son. And she knew about the affair, so instead of killing her husband, she killed the lover. And when Miss Marple and the inspector figured it all out, they went to find Elizabeth Taylor, but it turns out she killed herself. She poisoned herself as the last performance of her career. And that was the end of Window Crack. Now, I bet you that Angela Lansbury's performance as Miss Marple started her career in playing Jessica Fletcher on Murder, She Wrote. Now, I've been watching Murder, She Wrote recently, and most of them are pretty good and pretty interesting, but they're entertaining, to my opinion, and I would review Murder, She Wrote one of these days. But, to be honest, guys, I'm more of a Columbo guy myself. Speaking of Columbo, excuse me,
Gee, I hate to bother you. Has anyone seen my dog? A little basset hound. He sits around on jewels all day. Oh, one more thing. You got a match? You got a pen?
That's what I like about Columbo. I mean, compared to all the detectives I have ever seen, Columbo, he just acts like a bumbling idiot on purpose to let the criminals think that they can get away with it. But at the end, Columbo solved the case. And if they did do a crossover between Murder, She Wrote and Columbo, I think Jessica Fletcher wouldn't like Columbo's way. But it'd be kind of interesting to watch. And I always enjoyed watching Miss Marple on every part of Agatha Christie. I mean, one thing I've heard, to my opinion, I thought that Agatha Christie based herself as Miss Marple, but it turns out that Agatha Christie based Miss Marple from her grandmother. Imagine that. And I always thought that Miss Marple was more like Agatha Christie herself. But sometimes I kind of wonder where she got the idea. Oh, one thing I do have to say, that there are a lot of actresses who played Miss Marple, lots of them. And recently I have heard, but my favorite Miss Marple I do enjoy watching is the current one, played by Geraldine McGuinn. But sadly, Geraldine McGuinn passed away, so in a later series, Julia Mackenzie takes over. She's good, but I just like Geraldine better. I think she was a better Miss Marple. And the most stupidest thing I have ever heard, I've heard that Disney is planning to do their version of Miss Marple, and guess who they planning on having playing Miss Marple? Jennifer Gardner. Yeah, Jennifer Gardner's a good actress, but she ain't old enough to play Miss Marple, because I kind of doubt... I know that they would do some digital effects or makeup effects to make her look older, but I just don't see Jennifer Gardner playing Miss Marple. There are tons of other elderly actresses who'd be good enough to play Miss Marple, but I just don't think that Jennifer Gardner is one of them. Maybe wait until she hits the age of 50, maybe 60. Possibility. But I know how some of you are thinking, hey Michael, since you like Agatha Christie and Miss Marple, what about the Hercule Poirot? And I know some of you are going to be asking me about the Kenneth Branagh's version of Hercule Poirot, those trilogy movies. I have no interest in watching those movies. And one thing I gotta say about Kenneth Branagh's mustache as Poirot, I've heard of a handlebar mustache, but that is ridiculous. Jeesh. Why the giant, huge mustache stuff? If I do want to watch a Hercule Poirot, I'd rather watch a Hercule Poirot series played by David Suxon. I hope I got his name right. Suxon? Oh, in case any of you going to be telling me about this, yes, I know that Angela Lansbury starred in one of Hercule Poirot's mystery, Death on the Niles. Yeah, she appeared in that movie. Oh, well. So, to my opinion, folks, I do enjoy Murder, She Wrote, Columbo, and of course, Agatha Christie, Miss Marple. Hercule Poirot's okay. And remember, he's not French, he's Belgium. But I kind of wonder, where did Agatha Christie got the inspiration for Hercule Poirot? Although I have heard that she did met a Belgium detective which pretty much gave her the inspiration for her Hercule Poirot series. But I just like Miss Marple better. Oh, speaking of Cluedo, a little update, folks. I am working on Cluedo Episode 3. And I'm almost got most of the lines for some of the people. I'm also still waiting for some of them overseas. But all in all, I got most of the lines, and I'm still waiting for the one who's going to be like almost a victim, but now becomes a survivor. Spoilers. But I also have most of the suspects. I'm still waiting for the others. Anyway, this is my review for the day. And for those of you who like my review of Agatha Christie's Window Crack, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe for more. And since it's October, that means Multi-Voice-Halloween is going to start. Yes, and I know some of you are going to be telling me it's not window crack, it's mirror cracked. I get those confused, mirror and window, and I know one you can see yourself in, but slip of the tongue, so I'm not perfect.